This is the story of how a 20-year-old French center threw down a single dunk in a WNBA All-Star game and became the youngest player in league history to do it, while also becoming the first player to dunk in that showcase since Sylvia Fowles managed it back in 2022. July 25, 2026, at the United Center in Chicago. And by the time Dominique Malonga landed back on the hardwood, she'd rewritten a small but meaningful piece of WNBA history. Here's who she is, how she got there, and exactly what happened on that play. Who is Dominique Malonga? Understanding the dunk means understanding the player first, because Malonga's path to that moment in Chicago didn't follow anything close to a normal route. Born on November 16, 2005. In Yaoundé, Cameroon, Malonga grew up as the fourth of 6 children in a household where basketball wasn't a hobby, it was the family business. Both of her parents played the sport professionally, her mother, Ageda Naninja Mulemp, and her father, Thalance Malonga, who now works as a doctor. Her mother's playing career kept the family moving between France and Cameroon throughout Dominique's childhood, and from 2012 to 2016, they lived in Cameroon full-time before settling back in France. That back-and-forth upbringing matters, because it set the stage for a basketball career that started early, even by professional standards. June 30th, 2021, still a teenager, Malonga signed with Asvel Féminine, a French club owned by NBA legend Tony Parker, and it did not take long for the basketball world to start paying attention. Away from the court, there is a different side to her entirely. She is currently working toward a computer science degree online through Southern New Hampshire University, and she plays piano when she needs to decompress. And here is something you do not hear from a player being talked about as a generational talent. She has said publicly that she has no plans to work in basketball once she retires. The viral teenager. October of 2022 is when the wider world first noticed her, and the reason was dunking. At just 16 years old, video of her throwing one down in France spread fast, and it became the first real signal that this kid was built differently from everyone else her age. That same year, she helped France win bronze at the FIBA Under-17 World Cup, averaging a double-double of 18 points and 10 rebounds a game, earning a spot on the tournament's All-Star 5. The dunking wasn't a party trick. It came attached to real production on the floor. Her club career kept climbing from there. A loan to Tarbes Gaspé-Bigorre for the 2023 to 2024 season produced averages of 11.9 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks across 25 games, and she returned to Asvel for 2024 to 2025. Then came the Olympics. Named to France's roster for the Paris Games on June 8, 2024, Malonga became the youngest member of that team at just 18 years old. France walked away with the silver medal, and Malonga shared the floor with a player who'd later become her Seattle teammate, Gabby Williams. A few months after that, on October 31, 2024, she dunked in a Euro Cup women's game for Asvel during a lopsided 115-54 win over Apollon Limassol. Reports at the time called it the first dunk ever by a French woman in an official match. That claim didn't hold up. Video evidence later showed a 17-year-old named Alicia Tournebize had actually gotten there first, a few weeks earlier in a French 4th Division game. It's a small footnote in the grand scheme of things, but it's a good reminder that even firsts in basketball history sometimes get rewritten once somebody bothers to check the tape. Setting the stage in Chicago. The 2026 AT&T WNBA All-Star game carried extra weight on its own, marking the league's 30th anniversary. Played on July 25, 2026 at the United Center in Chicago, the game drew a reported crowd of 17,963 fans. Before tip-off, Malonga's own Storm teammate, Flau'jae Johnson, handed her a good-natured ultimatum. Joking that she wouldn't speak to Malonga again if she failed to dunk during the game, Malonga passed that story along to reporters after Friday's All-Star practice, a bit of locker room ribbing that still carried real pressure underneath the laugh. Suiting up for Team Coop alongside Paige Bueckers, Angel Reese, Brianna Stewart, Kelsey Mitchell, and Marina Mabry, Malonga faced a Team Spoon roster stacked with Jonquil Jones, Olivia Miles, and Caitlin Clark. The dunk. Here's exactly how it went down. With 6 minutes and 27 seconds left in the second quarter and Team Spoon leading 48-45, Angel Reese found Malonga with a pass into the paint. Neither Caitlin Clark nor Olivia Miles could recover in time to contest her, and with the lane wide open, Malonga drove in and slammed the ball through the hoop. She went straight to Angel Reese to celebrate, a chest bump followed by a high five, before both players hustled back on defense. By the final buzzer, Malonga's line read 12 points and 13 rebounds in just 16 minutes off the bench, shooting 6 of 17 from the field with 5 offensive rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell topped all scorers with 28 points, and Team Spoon ultimately closed out the win, 129-122, powered by an MVP performance from Jonquil Jones, 2 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. None of that final score mattered much by the next morning, though. The dunk was all anyone wanted to talk about. What the dunk actually meant. 20 years old, and Malonga had just become the youngest player ever to dunk in a WNBA All-Star game. That same play also made her the youngest player to record a double-double in a WNBA All-Star game, backed up by that 12-point, 30-rebound line, and according to a Storm release, she joined a remarkably small group, reported as the 7th player ever to dunk in a WNBA All-Star game at all. That distinction is worth spelling out clearly, because it's not the same thing as the all-time list of players who've dunked in any WNBA game. That larger list starts with Lisa Leslie, who became the first player ever to dunk in a WNBA game back in July of 2002, and since then, several others have pulled it off in regular season or playoff games, Brittany Griner leading the pack with 27 career dunks. The All-Star Game list is a different animal entirely, much smaller and much rarer, simply because the chances to attempt one come around so infrequently. Malonga's dunk belongs to that tighter, more exclusive club. And inside that club, there's a direct line running back to Sylvia Fowles. The Sylvia Fowles connection. Fowles dunked in the 2022 WNBA All-Star Game, a breakaway slam in the first half off a steal from Las Vegas Aces guard Jackie Young. Reports at the time called it her first dunk in more than a decade. Team Wilson beat Team Stewart in that one, 134-112. What makes Fowles' 2022 dunk stick in memory is the timing. It happened in her final WNBA All-Star game, the same season she'd announced would be her last. And remarkably, she'd also dunked in her very first All-Star appearance, way back on July 25, 2009. Her entire All-Star career, in other words, got bookended by a dunk in the opener and a dunk in the finale. Nobody else managed to dunk in a WNBA All-Star game between that 2022 moment and Malonga's play in 2026. 4 years is the gap that made this newsworthy beyond just a young player doing something impressive. It marked the return of a moment the league hadn't witnessed in years. Putting it all together, step back and look at the full picture. Dominique Malonga walked into the WNBA already known as a dunker, having gone viral for it at 16 in France, having done it in Euro Cup competition, having done it for the French national team, having done it in Unrivaled. Her own teammates were joking about it before the All-Star game even tipped off. Her draft week interview, more than a year earlier, had her naming LeBron James as the dream witness for her first in-game slam. And still, across 63 WNBA regular season games, it hadn't happened. Not until the lights got brightest. On the league's 30th anniversary All-Star stage, in front of nearly 18,000 fans at the United Center, with an assist from Angel Reese, a challenge from Flau'jae Johnson still ringing in her ears, and a legacy connection back to Sylvia Fowles sitting there waiting to be claimed. 20 years old, in her second WNBA season, Dominique Malonga dunked in a WNBA All-Star game. Youngest player ever to do it. Youngest to record a double-double in that same setting. And the first player in 4 years since Sylvia Fowles in 2022 to deliver that exact moment on that exact stage. That's how one dunk in one exhibition game tied a 20-year-old born in Cameroon and raised in France to a piece of WNBA history that had been sitting untouched since 2022. Whether her first regular season WNBA dunk lands next month or next season, this is the one that got there first, and it's the one that put her name in the record book.